This is Alex. Alex is currently at Kelly Lab Services for a random drug screen. There's just one small problem. Alex silently suffers from something called paruresis, also known as shy bladder syndrome. As the collector explains the procedure, Alex is getting more and more nervous. His palms are sweaty, his heart is racing, and oh no, it appears he is now sweating profusely. How embarrassing. When you're stressed, like standing in a restroom trying to pee for a drug test while super nervous, your sympathetic nervous system locks down the bladder muscles, even if your bladder is full. It's like your body says, now's not a safe time to pee. Hold it in, even though you know logically you're just standing in a clinic, not in danger. So Alex comes out of the bathroom without the required 45 milliliters of urine for laboratory analysis. He's embarrassed, full of anxiety, and just wants to disappear. So what will happen next? Well, that depends on the collector's training.
So here's how you handle a shy bladder situation. The donor has to remain inside of your facility. They have up to 3 hours to provide another specimen. You can provide them with up to 40 ounces of water to drink, but you're going to spread that out in increments, okay? You're also going to document those amounts of water that you're giving to the donor on your water log. So you should have a copy of a water log that is notating each time that you're giving the donor water. Okay, so you're going to notate. So if you give them 4 ounces to begin with, you're going to document gave the donor 4 ounces at whatever time. Okay, so each time you give them water, it needs to be documented on that water log. Now, you can only give them up to 40 ounces of water because outside of 40 ounces, the specimen will be too dilute for testing. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're not giving the donor over 40 ounces of water during that 3-hour time period. Okay. They are also not to leave your site. So you need to have eyes on the donor during their waiting period. Okay, so make sure that you can clearly see the donor during the time that they are waiting to provide an additional specimen. Now, they are not limited to just one more chance on giving you a full 45 milliliters of urine. They can go as many times as they deem necessary. However, I would keep in mind that you may have a supply issue if you just keep letting them go every 10 minutes. So I would try to keep it to where maybe, they can try again within, 20 minutes or 30 minutes after they have taken some time to try to be able to urinate in the cup, basically. So let's get into how do you document a shy bladder on the CCF form. Here is the Federal Custody and Control Form. This is what you're going to use to document the drug testing process. So when we have a shy bladder, of course, we're going to start off with step 1, and you're going to verify the donor's ID by looking at their ID and verifying that that person is standing in front of you. Once you've done that, you're going to start filling in the information for step number 1. Step 1 includes filling out the employer's information or verifying it because it could be pre-populated. So if the information is ever pre-populated on your form, you need to confirm and make sure that it is the correct information. Anything that is not pre-populated needs to be filled in manually by you, the collector. So we're going to go ahead and fill in all of the employer's information. Make sure that you don't leave anything blank on your form. And this goes for people who are also taking their DOT mock exam as well. You want to make sure that you don't leave any blanks on your form during your mock exam. After that, you're going to fill in the MRO's information or confirm that the information is correct. Any information that is missing, like we have the phone number and the fax number that's missing for the MRO, you are going to manually write that information in. So make sure that you don't forget to include important information in step number 1. Moving on to letter C, you are going to write in the donor's social security number, employee ID number, or the CDL state and number if they are a truck driver under FMCSA regulations. Letter D is specifying the DOT agency, and Alex is with the FAA, so we're going to check the box for FAA. Next, in letter E, for the reason for the test, he is here for a random screen, so we're going to select the box that says random. Letter F is the drug test to be performed. All DOT screens are 5 panels, so we're going to check the box next to our 5 panels here. Letter G could be pre-populated information, so you want to make sure that you verify that the collection site address is correct. The collection site address should reflect where you are currently conducting the drug screen, so make sure that information is correct. Then you're going to verify the collector contact information, so make sure that your phone number and your fax number is written in properly. On the other line, you can write in your email address. So that concludes step number 1 of the CCF form. Let's move on to step 2. Step number 2 is analyzing the specimen. However, in this scenario, we have a shy bladder. So we are not going to check our boxes for urine, split, or the temperature yet because we do not have a full specimen. So the first thing we're going to do is document that Alex had a shy bladder. And the acronym that we use for shy bladder is QNS, which stands for quantity not sufficient. That is how you're going to start off your remark. Then you're going to notate how much urine was provided and at what time. So Alex was able to produce 15 milliliters of urine at 2:30 p.m. Then we gave Alex 8 ounces of water at 2:35 p.m. to begin the shy bladder process. Now, any other additional water that we give to Alex will need to be documented on a shy bladder log. This is what your shy bladder log looks like. We're going to write in the date. You're going to put the collector name, donor name, the time of the initial collection is that original collection that happened at 2:30 p.m. The donor has up to 3 hours to provide another specimen, so we're going to do 2:30 plus 3 hours, which would be 5:30 p.m. That is the final time that Alex has to produce the 45 milliliters of urine. It is important to document that so that you don't forget what time the 3-hour period is over for Alex. Refusal to drink fluids is not a refusal to test, so make sure that you inform the donor that they do not have to drink the water, but it is recommended. So now we're going to put in the first attempt. So we gave him 8 ounces of water at 2:35 p.m. We're going to initial that. Attempt number 1. So Alex decided that he was ready to try to give us another specimen at 3 p.m. So we're going to document that and put the result in. So the result of that one, Alex produced 20 milliliters of urine at that time. And we're going to initial that as well. Please note that that initial 15 milliliters of urine was discarded. So you are not going to use the same cup or the same urine on the other attempts. So when Alex went in for his first attempt, he's getting a brand new cup to use, a fresh cup, okay? And then he provided that 20 or 25 milliliters of urine. On his second attempt, he's getting a brand new cup again, and then he was able to provide the 45 milliliters of urine. So make sure that you're providing a fresh cup each time the donor goes in for a new attempt. So at that point, the shy bladder procedure is concluded because he was able to provide that 45 milliliters of urine. So we're going to write in the remarks, donor provided 45 milliliters of urine at 3:35 p.m. And then in our status area, we're going to come down. We're going to document that the donor provided the specimen at 3:35 p.m. If the donor could not provide the specimen within the 3-hour time period, then you would put the 5:30 p.m. as the time, and then you would contact the DER, which is the designated employer representative, and let them know that the donor may need to get a medical exam within the next 5 business days. Coming back to our CCF form, now that we have the full 45 milliliters of urine, now we can check our boxes. So we check the box for urine. We check that we're going to split the specimen because we are sending it off to the lab. And we're checking the box for the temperature because the temperature was between 90 and 100 degrees. Make sure that during your mock exam, you don't prematurely check your boxes on that initial attempt that was insufficient, okay? Because that happens all the time during the exam. Students will mark urine split and the temperature on the insufficient specimen, but you should not check those boxes until you have a full 45 milliliters of urine. Then you're going to come back and check your boxes based on that 45 milliliters. Then you can write in a note at what time they gave it and for them to see the water log that is attached to the CCF. So, anytime that you have a shy bladder situation, it needs to be handled with compassion because, as you can see, it could be a medical reason as to why they are unable to produce enough urine. You don't want to come off as disrespectful or rude or not having any understanding for what the donor may be going through in that moment. So, in order to do that, you want to just stick to the regulations, stick to what your procedures are, and only follow those procedures. So don't go outside of that, and definitely don't make the donor feel bad for having a shy bladder. I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, please like and subscribe to my channel so that you can see more educational videos just like this one. And if you are on your way to take your mock exam, good luck to you. I know you're going to do great. Don't be nervous. Just study, study, and study, and do your best. I'll see you next time.